Going to do a little pregame action for you for the finals. If you want to see the end of that Matt Place versus Stephen O'Mahony-Schwartz match, by the way, the archives for all the lunchtime entertainment are going to go up as soon as the finals are over. So you'll be able to download that or any of the other lunch matches you might want to watch. They'll be up. That's the first time we put the lunch entertainment up as archives. We're going to start trying to do that so you guys can see these matches whenever you want to.
So you guys can stop emailing me and asking about it.
Right. First thing we want to talk about, though, back here at Charleston is the lunchtime conversation was all about the match that ended the semifinals between Gadiel Slifer and Willie Edel. If you remember, Edel baited out Gadiel's Void Slime by playing a Sunforger, and now Gadiel had no more permission, so Bathe in Light was able to make all of Edel's creatures unblockable. They came through, despite the Sky Swallower, finished Gadiel off. Gadiel had Savage Twister in his hand. He was just sort of waiting for the right time, didn't know he was about to die, had the counterspell.
Well, he was hoping to get to Savage Twister mana with Void Slime backup.
Exactly. So, the play that Gadiel could have done, you want to explain it?
Yeah, well, there was only Willie had already played a land, and he played a 7, which was his 7th mana on the board. Right. Gadiel could have allowed the Sunforger to resolve, and then when he attempts to equip it,
Void Slime, the equip ability, it's an activated ability, so Void Slime could counter it. That would mean that Edel had spent fully 6 land, 4 for the Sunforger and 2 to equip it, and got nothing to show for it. 3 to equip it, and got nothing to show for it. So Edel would be all tapped out. Gadiel could untap, Twister the board away, serve with Simic Sky Swallower. He would have been in really great shape to win that game.
And there was nothing. Willie had sided out a lot of his burn spells for other sideboard cards, so he had a limited amount of threats left in his deck to win with. He felt he would have lost. There was a lot of confusion after the match. Gadiel was like, "Oh, I think he had 8 mana," but we talked to Willie and he had 7.
Yeah, no, it looks like there was a play that probably won the game for Gadiel Slifer, and Gadiel, I think he was aware that he had the option to counter the equip ability. It's not like he missed what Void Slime was capable of doing, but I think it would have worked if he'd played it that way.
Although
Gadiel thought he had 8 landed play. Maybe he was confused about the mana.
Willie's pretty confident he had 7. We talked to them at lunch.
There's another thing to look for in the archives. Well, it'll take us a couple hours to get this footage up in the archives, but once it's there, you can go back and see. Could Gadiel have won that game? Should Big Timing with Big Oots be in this finals? I don't know. Maybe.
But now we have Alapumba.
And Chris McDaniel, they actually played that match out for fun, and McDaniel did win his match, so Gadiel could have won that.
Is that really considered playing it for fun?
I don't know. So, semifinals, we did have Alapumba from Brazil winning 2-1 over Big Time with Big Oots. They're going to play the Japanese team in the finals. But we've been teasing them long enough, right?
Yes, we have.
All right. The first MagicGathering.com Cold Snap preview card, first official preview card. The set is coming out in a couple of weeks, pre-release July 8th and 9th. And a lot of what Cold Snap is about is it's sort of the long-lost third set from the Ice Age block. It's very much flavored and situated in the world. We designed it and developed it as if it was the third set of that block. And so what do third sets do, right? They look back to the previous sets in the block and take the themes and twist them and bend them. And, like, what would you expect in Cold Snap? It seems like one of the obvious cycles to go back on. Here's the question. I'm actually disappointed that you've seen the card, or the claim card, because if I asked you what the most famous Alliances card was,
it's Force of Will.
It's Force of Will, right? It's obviously Force of Will. By far the most influential and important card from the entire Alliances set. So Cold Snap has to go back and revisit that territory. And the way we've done it in Cold Snap is there's a cycle of cards where you have to pitch 2 cards, a double pitch cycle. You have to pitch 2 cards to get an effect for free. One of them is today's preview card. It's called Sun Scour. 5 WW, so 7 mana. You may remove 2 white cards in your hand from the game rather than play Sun Scour's mana cost. Destroy all creatures. There's a pitch Wrath of God coming up in Cold Snap.
That's just insane to me.
Pitch Wrath.
That seems. I mean, we just saw. We've seen all this card draw. We just saw Moonlit Bargain.
In playtesting, I've done that. I've cast Moonlit Bargain, kept the white cards, used them to pitch for the Wrath. It's good times. Very good card.
I mean, it's funny because it seems counterintuitive, right? Like you want to store cards up in your hand to play after the Wrath. You don't want to have to use them to cast the Wrath.
Casting something else and on the turn you play Wrath.
But that's what I was just going to say. Being able to Wrath and then drop a threat seems
so those of you watching
fantastic.
on the internet can see Sun Scour. It's up on the pitch tool, up on the push tool. there you get a look at it. The pitch tool. Yeah, right now it's a pitch tool. Awesome card. I think the Cold Snap's actually a really fun set. I had a lot of fun working on it. I think it's got a lot of good cards. I think this is a card you're going to start to see showing up in standard tournaments. People are definitely going to get their hands on it and try to figure out, wow, free Wrath of God. Just tremendously powerful effects to get for free. You'll see this.
And in Limited, you claimed that given a choice between RGD draft and Cold Snap draft, you don't know which way you lean.
Ravnica block draft is awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I actually think Cold Snap is... It's different, but it's also awesome. Excuse me. If there was a box of Cold Snap right now, I would be drafting Cold Snap tonight. If I owned a box of Cold Snap, but I mean, I've drafted it before. It's just a lot of fun. I think it's a really cool format.
A
lot of people have been coming up saying, small set booster draft. We do that at the pre-release, and it kind of sucks, right? It's not great. I mean, what? We were just supposed to draft Cold Snap. I'm like, yes, we're obviously aware what small set booster draft looks like. Trust us. We have taken that alleged flaw and turned it into a feature of the set.
Wow. I've definitely heard about organizers who've been stockpiling Ice Age starters. Mm-hmm. How does it play sealed?
It's fun. I mean, it belongs. It definitely feels like the flavor is right. It feels like it properly belongs as part of that block. I mean, I think that most of the organized play that happens is going to be just Cold Snap. I mean, we can't expect everybody to be able to afford to get Ice Age boosters. And quite frankly, I think the set is a little better balanced for Limited than those sets were. I mean, R&D has learned a lot over the course of the last 10 years. It's not like we tried to replicate Development's ability to know what a good card was and, have 4 mana get you a 1/2 flyer. I mean, Ice Age is one of my favorite sets. I think it's a lot of fun. I like the flavor of it. I mean, I think Cold Snap, it sort of takes that flavor but then updates it for sort of the modern world.
Cool. I'm excited.
All right.
July 8th.
July 8th for the pre-releases. Orb of Insight goes live at midnight tonight, and previews start next week. They're 8 days from now on MagicTheGathering.com.
Ooh, that means I should have some preview cards in my inbox when I check my email. I haven't seen them yet.
All right.
This is actually the only Cold Snap card I've seen.
The whole set, just like this.
Woohoo!
Well, they can't all be Sunscours, but Sunscour quite the card. So there's your Cold Snap preview card. Hope that was worth the wait. We are now ready for the finals of Pro Tour Charleston, so stay tuned. We'll be back momentarily with coverage of the battle between the Japanese and the Brazilians. Pages. Hello and welcome to Pro Tour Charleston. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm here with Brian David Marshall, and we are ready for the championship match. It's going to be the Japanese team of Kajiharu 80, Tomohiro Saito, Shota Yasuoka, and Tomohiro Kaji taking on the Brazilians. There's Paulo Vitor Damo da Rosa, Willie Edel, and Celso Zampiri. Won a PTQ with him. They've come to the Pro Tour. They've got their free plane ticket. It's the only reason they're here. And they have flown all the way into the finals. Get a good look at Tomohiro Saito there. Who do you like in this matchup?
Well, I talked to Kaji before the match, and I
confidant, by the way.
Hope I'm saying this correctly, but he said that their strategy for winning this match is Kiseki.
Dueling Dark Confidants.
That's Japanese for miracle.
Miracle. They need a miracle?
They need a miracle. They said this matchup is atrocious for them.
Wow.
They don't think they have a good matchup. They think the B seat is going to be a romp by Willie Edel.
Okay.
And they think that Saito's match is really bad. Saito said it's almost unwinnable, but he said, "I will win."
All right.
So I'm gonna pick the Japanese despite being underdogs on paper.
Right.
I'm going to just go with their experience playing at high-level events and just Kaji's overwhelming desire to get that first Pro Tour win.
Yeah, I mean, Kaji has got a couple top 8s. Saito has got a couple top 8s. These guys are clearly great players. The thing is, though, that I think the Brazilians can actually hang with them. You look at the performances that Paulo Vitor Damo da Rosa has put up. He's got Tesa joining Dark Confidant on his side of the board. He has played 5 Pro Tours. He made money in all 5 of them. He made money in London. I mean, we talked about the fact he's got 2 top 32s this year, and that's true. He also made money at Worlds as a member of the Brazilian national team. He made money at Worlds another year. He made money at Grand Prix at Pro Tour London. He's 5 for 5, now 6 for 6 making money at the Pro Tour. Wow, there's Orzhov Pontiff taking away Lizolda and Dark Confidant. Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa just coming out, smashing Tomohiro Saito.
You can see why Saito was concerned about the matchup.
Certainly.
All these cards just give him problems.
Yeah, Damo de Rosa's Orzhov deck seems really well set up to handle aggro. We watched him smack John Pelkak's Boros deck around. Showed Pelkak both sides of his hand in the semifinals, and now here he swept Saito's board. He's got Bob, Pontiff, he's got Tesa. Now who did he just add to the board? Oh, Plague Rusaka.
Which lets him do all sorts of crazy
Orzhov
Orzhov Pontiff tricks if need be.
And to get rid of Bob if
and get rid of Bob if necessary. Also, it's kind of interesting about this, about his choice to put that deck in that seat.
I totally agree.
Or to put, actually, even more so than that seat, how about that deck with that player?
Yeah,
it's the fastest deck.
They put the best player on the right. Normally you put the best player in the middle, but they wanted the aggro deck on the right. I just really love the way they set their seats up.
And with the best player having the fastest deck, he can get done the quickest.
Yep.
And then lend his powers to the other 2 players for the remainder of the match.
Yeah, I don't know if they predicted that everyone would put aggro in this seat, but in the C seat, but looks like, I mean, he beat aggro in the last round. He looks like he's in good shape against aggro here. Like, here's Lizolda into a Plague Rusaka Pontiff board. It just seems like, certainly in the finals today, Damo de Rosa's decision to put this Orzhov deck on the right has worked out tremendously well.
Yeah, we got the first face slap from Saito, so fellow Victor could be in some trouble.
8-17.
Is this another Pontiff? Nope, it's a Mortify.
Wow. Rumbling Slum and Watch Wolf off a couple of birds for Willie Edel. So Prado Pumba off to a blistering start.
We were talking about that matchup.
Well.
That Swift Silence doesn't seem like a great answer to Watch Wolf.
It's true.
In that matchup. Shadow Yasoka's deck is definitely designed to win the control mirror,
right.
And I think it sacrifices a lot, certainly in game 1, to the aggro matchup.
That's the other reason I like the Brazilians in this matchup. They've just situated their decks in the right seats. So many people put their good player in the middle so that he can give advice on both matchups, easily see both the A seat and the C seat and give advice on it. So many of the best players in the world prefer to play control. I think they expected to be running into control, and they put a very aggressive Zoo deck with lots of awesome cards against control. I mean, Sunforger is ridiculous against the control decks in this field.
Lizolda
takes down a Dark Confidant.
Lizolda took down a Dark Confidant. And I believe drew a card as well there.
Yep. But Tesa means Dark Confidant turns into a Spirit, and Paulo Vitor sends everybody into the red zone. There's another 4 damage. That's half of Saito's life total. Saito's the Rakdos deck. He's supposed to be the beatdown, right? This Orzhov deck is so well set up to deal with little weenies, and it doesn't help when you draw 10 lands. Wow, Tomohiro Saito is just smacked around. And the Brazilians, Prada Pumba, take a 1-0 lead. Paulo Victor Damo de Rosa up a game on Tomohiro Saito. Just to make sure you know what's going on, each of these matches is a best 2 out of 3, and then whichever team wins 2 out of 3 matches wins the Pro Tour.
And the players are allowed to help each other.
Right.
They're allowed to. They just can't touch or physically assist in the game in any way.
Right, you're allowed to offer advice. You're allowed to share information with your friends.
So we could be seeing a preview of the Player of the Year race here today. Both Paulo Vitor and Shota Yasuoka are very, very much in the mix for Player of the Year at the moment.
Sure.
If Yasuoka's team wins this match, which they don't think they can, Yasuoka would have 38 Pro Tour points this season.
Look what's going on down here. This is Tomohiro Kaji versus Celso Zampier. He's trying to deduce the contents of Zampier's hand. Kaji played a Mimeo Fracture. He played a Mimeo Fracture, and he's memorized his opponent's deck list over lunch, because the deck lists are public, so he actually just while resolving Mimeofracture, took 30 seconds, laid out Zampier's deck in 4s. He's able, therefore, to deduce exactly which cards are in Celso Zampier's hand. Wow. Tomohiro Kaji, ladies and gentlemen. That is a level 5 mage from last year. Awesome Magic player, clearly one of the best in the world. He was in the top 8 at the last Team Pro Tour with Kenji Samura by his side. He's got Shoto Yasuoka joining he and Saito this time. Kaji really wants to win this, and he's awesome. He would be a very worthy Pro Tour champion if he could pull this off. The bad news is both his teammates have already dropped the match. Dropped the game. Willie Edel came out fast with his Zoo deck and smashed Yasuoka. Saito had a bad draw in a bad matchup. So Kaji's doing what he can. It would be ironic if Kaji wins but the team loses, because Kaji has actually gone 5-10 this weekend. He's only 5-10, but his teammates have picked him up in most of the times when he lost.
Yeah, they said they were really counting on a win from him because they feel the B seat matchup is just if they're going to win, this needs to be the round he pulls it together and gets a win.
Sure.
And not that he's been playing badly.
Sure.
It's just his matchups have been better. Perhaps he doesn't have the optimal deck. So
he made me a fracture to carry it to, didn't he? Got to draw a card in addition to everything else.
I saw a lot of Mimeofracture this weekend. It seemed like a very interesting card. I saw people Mimeofracturing Karus. Mostly people just Mimeofracture Signets. But
what's the deck matchup here?
So we're looking right now at Kaji's match with Celso, and we have basically the Moroi. It's like a Simic Dimir beatdown deck.
From Kaji
with a little control.
Moroi,
Skeletal Vampires,
a
Rolling
decent number
Spoil.
of control elements, though. He's got 4
But
carries.
he's got some expensive, twisted... he's got the Simic Sky Swallowers, not a Sky Swallower. And Celso has basically the same deck, but
there is Simic Sky Swallower for Kaji. Wow.
He is not running... he's not running Morois. Didn't see a lot of Moroi this weekend. He's running more removal. He's running Ribbons of Night, where Kaji is running the Morois. Those Ribbons of Night.
So Kaji's deck actually sounds better set up here. Moroi seems like a good threat in sort of mid-speed versus mid-speed battle.
Right, four drops are definitely beatdown in this format.
I guess Moroi does die to Ribbons, though.
Yeah, the Ribbon seems excellent. I'm just looking at the B seat sideboards. I'm just trying to figure out what Yasuoka does. I don't even know if he can bring out enough cards.
Figure out while you're at it. Figure out what Zampier does against a resolved Simic Sky Swallower.
But I mean, we know what he does. He either plays his own or he dies.
That's probably what Zampier is digging for with that compulsive research. Discards.
And he does have 4 of them. I mean, he can stay alive with Ribbons, on some other stuff maybe, but doesn't. That's just a delaying tactic. Skeletal Vampire doesn't do much against it because of the trample. He doesn't have it.
Simic Sky Swallower crunching over.
Play 20, 12.
Kaji's still at 20. His opponent falls to 12. Oh, I guess he put a land into play untapped. It's actually going to cost him a whole turn. Difference between 20 and 18 is big against the 6/6. Sounds like Shoto Yasuoka doing his best to bring his curve down, sideboarding. He brought in Spell Snare against Willie Edel.
I was wondering if he was going to bring in his Keening Banshees.
Huh. But not that many 2/2s, though, from Edel. It's mostly like Watch Wolves, Burning
And
Shaman,
it really just hits
Rumbling
birds.
Swamps.
It hits birds.
I think it's Celestia Guildmage.
And Celestia Guildmage. That's about all it hits. That doesn't seem very exciting, actually. So, yeah, Face Fetters. You could conceivably want a Pontiff to deal with tokens from the Guildmage, but the Guildmage hasn't seemed to have made many tokens today.
Another Caryatid. Zampier continues to dig. Now, Kaji has the ability to counter the Simic Sky Swallower, right?
Kaji does have 4 Void Slimes.
He didn't do much last turn except play a land and attack. He's sitting on untapped mana. If he's got a Void Slime, he's in great shape to take a game on behalf of Kajiharu 80. There's Sky Swallower.
An interesting
Crunching over. There goes
an interesting
half
card
of
that Kaji has is also his Clutch of the Undercity, and he could actually
deal the last 3 that way.
He could deal the last 3 that way, and he could also sort of set Zampier back on his mana by bouncing a Karoo and keeping him away from the critical.
All right,
critical
Celso
land he needs.
Zampier needs to come up with an answer to Simic Sky Swallower this turn, or he's going to be down a game.
I'm predicting Ribbons of Night on a. Nope, he's got something.
It's like Sky Swallower mana. There it is.
There's
There's the Void
Slime.
Slime, and there's the game. Kaji wins.
Team score 1-0.
All right, Kaji puts one on the board for the Japanese. The
All right.
Brazilians took 2 game ones. Kaji took this one for Japan. We'll move back over to, let's go back to Table C. Check in on the Saito struggling with his Rakdos Boros hybrid against the Orzhov of Damo de Rosa.
Saito really has to feel the pressure here. He has to know that if Kaji's going to be in a position to pull something out, they know they all identified Yasuoka's matchup as being the worst on the team.
Active Dark Confidant for Tomoharu Saito. 13 to 16.
Like 13.
6.
What did he hit that he's already down to 13?
You can only imagine.
And there's a Pontiff. Down goes Dark Confidant. Here's a Char from Tomoharu Saito.
Saito's on the burn plan.
Go.
Like
11 to 12.
Looks like, from what I can gather, Saito has a fistful of burn. I see a helix, and I think I see the letter X.
like 10 to 12.
10 to 12.
There's a
There's
Belfry Spirit.
Belfry Spirit joining Orzhov Pontiff.
Potentially important, which tokens Paolo uses.
And yep,
Like 13.
Saito is in Domyu mode. Lightning Helix drops Damo de Rosa to 9. Buys Saito 3 more points of life as well.
I think he's also holding Lizolda.
He's got Seal of Fire, Lizolda, Demon Fire, and one other card. Which I think is another Helix.
So he's got
That's
the
a
burn
lot.
in
He only
hand.
has- how much red mana does he have though? It
He's one
looks
short
like
on the
one.
X spell.
He's also only got 1 red mana, so
Right.
he can't do multiple things in a turn right now. But if he helixes Damo de Rosa down to 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that a Karoo or a dual land? On Saito's side of the board.
It looks like a Carnarium in the far corner, but
Is it a Carnarium?
no, that is a
It's a
Blood,
Blood Crypt and a Basilica or a Godless Shrine?
I'm almost certain that's Godless Shrine.
So he's only got the ability to Demon Fire for 3. Now here's Pontiff. Paolo recognizes that he just needs to attack for as quickly as possible. He's eventually going to get fried. He doesn't have that much. He doesn't have life gaining. He doesn't have permission. He just needs to deal 20 as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Plus one, plus one?
Yeah.
All right, the Pontiff
Okay,
is
guys.
resolved.
Pontiff gives everybody a little pump.
Okay.
So that's 2, 4, 6, 8.
That should be 9.
9 damage. Dropping Saito to 4. I suspect Lightning Helix is going to happen.
No.
Is it possible for Saito to deal the last 6 fast enough?
Finish that. Like,
He dies to the next attack, right?
He just gained 3.
So
Is that absolutely necessary?
yes. Yes.
he has a seal and a char in his
He
hand.
needs another red mana.
Yeah,
He
needs a red
doesn't need
mana.
to rip the Lightning Helix. He needs to rip the
Rip the
red
red.
to cast the burn spell.
Saito actually has plenty of burn in his hand. He's just having trouble unloading it all. Only 1 red mana to work with this game.
That looks red, but is it a Carnarium or a Blood Crypt?
Yeah, he drew a red double land.
You got to be more specific when you pray for a top deck. You
Play
can't
Seal
just
of Fire.
ask for a red
Oh,
source.
comes into play tapped? Why did he not pay 2 life and fry him? What am I missing?
Oh, that was a Blood Crypt.
What am I missing? Palavitro Dominarosa's at 6, right? Are you sure he has a char
I
in
don't
his
believe
hand?
he has a char. I
never saw a char. So.
No, the card that's in his hand is, I believe, the
Fire.
next spell. Demon Fire.
Okay, so no char.
But with Plagued Rusalka, no? There's no Plagued Rusalka.
Is that Seal of Fire good enough to keep Saito alive for a turn?
He really needs it to kill Follow, though.
Well, he's going to get attacked for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right?
Yes. No, 7.
7.
Right, 2 2s and 3 1s.
Attack phase.
What's the card
Oh
he
my
held
goodness. Damo de Rosa can kill his own Pontiff here.
Cool.
back? What's the card he held back?
It's a Pontiff, right?
Like,
Couldn't he kill his own Pontiff?
Yes,
Oh,
kill
he
his
has
own
to kill
Pontiff
2.
and then the creature that
Oh, right. He couldn't kill
he
2.
haunts it onto.
Yeah, there's a Signet. Damo de Rosa setting up for the guaranteed kill next turn. He's not going to get beat by a haste creature.
Yep.
He's not going to lose to Solifuge. Demon Fire. And a seal. There it is. Saito
Nicely played.
manages to burn his opponent out and take game 2. Wow. Oof. Let's move to the B match now. Let's see how Willie Edel and Shuto Yasaoka are doing. So that match, Saito said he needed, what's the word for miracle?
Kiseki.
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 He only needs
I'm
one
sure
more
I'm still
Kiseki.
saying it incorrectly. Yes. They're 2/3 of the way there.
All right, what's going on here between Edel and Yasaoka? Edel has got a zoo deck that seems really powerful against control.
This is as good a board as Yasaoka could expect.
Bunch of land, and
Bunch of land and not a lot of threats on the other side of the table.
that's a Sun Forger, but no creatures.
Correct. There's a Cortusar for Yasaoka.
Yeah, that is about as good as it gets. Just 20 more turns, Yasaoka can win.
But as the game progresses, it should swing progressively in his favor. As his expensive counter spells and whatnot all turn on.
Sure. Bird of Paradise.
Bird of Paradise, which can easily pick up a Sun Forger.
Sure. And it does. And there's the land to activate the Sun Forger too if he wants to.
16.
A nice little subtlety, right? Holding back
Sure.
the land until after
After the Sun Forger
the
resolves.
Sun Forger resolves and is equipped.
Yep. Does not want to let his opponent know that Sun Forger's online up this turn.
Right. And Yasaoka cannot respond to playing a land, so
Right.
if something cagey was going on, he could take care of it.
Edel down to 12 from mostly Cortusar, presumably. Looks like Yasaoka has an Angel of Despair and a Faith's Fetters.
And an overall.
Spell Snare Remand. Oh, Paolo actually asking for sideboarding advice from Willie Edel.
Well, Willie's no stranger to the Pro Tour. I mean, he's played on the Pro Tour 4 times. He has not had the success that Paolo's experienced.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also made the top 8 of his nationals 3 times.
Okay.
You kind of surprised that Yasaoka did not try to overrule the Sun Forger?
Well, we weren't here when it resolved, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're
It
right.
was in
That
play when we got here. It was just
the
a bird.
Yep. Bird got in there.
Life 12, 11.
So really, Edel's best play here is to not play anything. He's aware of the overroll. He's actually in a great position to win. He can just unequip the Sunforger and char his opponent. Untap, re-equip, swing. One more unequip, and that's the game.
Overall on table A, sounds like Celso Zampier did the transformational sideboard thing again. He's got Vine Lasher Kudzus and Plaxcaster Froglings in his deck. He's got a Kudzu up to 3/3. Kaji's been playing land destruction. Oh, here's Stace Fetters from Shota Yasaoka. Fetters the Bird is the play. And looks like Edel is going to activate Sunforger as a response.
And get Bathe in Light.
There's one Bathe in his sideboard. Yeah, it gets the other Bathe in Light. Seems like a good play.
Seems like you would want to. I guess you don't really want to fade Fetters to Sunforger because then he'll just attack you to death with the bird.
That's probably what Yasaoka was thinking about. Oh, there's the Spell Snare for the Bathe in Light. So it may be free coming out of that Sunforger, but it's still a spell. And it still gets stopped by Spell Snare. Second Vine Lasher Kudzu for Celso Zampier. Kaji has had a land destruction start. He's blown up 3 lands with Rolling Spoil, but he might just get beaten up by Vine Lasher Kudzus.
His opponent keeps playing fresh ones and making his Vine Lasher Kudzus bigger.
Pretty much. There's Burning Tree Shaman from Willie Edel. Gets met by a Remand. And now Locks It on Hierarch comes down. Edel basically baited the Remand with the Burning Tree Shaman, got down the bigger creature, the Hierarch. At 4 power, that's the one he preferred to have resolved this turn. Also a better use of his mana.
Yep.
Edel seems to be playing well.
He's going to be able to attack for 8 next turn. Isoka did get 4 pretty precious points of life out of that Face Fetters.
Yeah, the 4 life from the Face Fetters is nice, but that Sunforger seems like it's just it's a long-term threat that's not going to go away.
It's an extra card a turn.
And +4 to every creature.
Oh, but there's Angel of Despair. On the Locks and Hierarchy. Lets the Sunforger sit there.
Interesting.
Gets in for 1.
What do you think of that play? Would you have pointed it at Sunforger or Hierarch?
Well, if he points it at the Sunforger, then he can't get his attack on with the Angel of Despair. He has to leave the Angel of Despair back.
So he's basically playing to race Sunforger with a 5/5 flyer.
Yes. I mean, Sunforger needs... Well, I guess he can still equip it to the bird and unequip
Right.
it.
He can still run through the engine.
Right.
But there's no attacker, so that definitely swings the race nicely in Yasaoka's favor.
There's a Selesnya Guildmage. No Spell Snare. Bird still taps for mana under the Faith Fetters.
Yep. And the Guildmage picks up Sunforger. Does he have the land? No, not going to be able to. Oh, yeah, he does. That's a double land.
Garrison.
So he can activate. He had untapped Boros Garrison. He's able to activate Sunforger if he wants to. Well,
So he's got
I'm sure he does.
Yeah. Should he want a free char out of his deck?
Here's Compulsive Research. Yasaoka needs to race. Really wants to just send Angel of Despair over, start making some progress toward killing Willie Edel. He's got that Guildmage wearing a Sunforger. I guess if Gordon Sar chump blocks, seems like you send Angel this turn, right?
Absolutely. You have to get some... You're 3 hits away from winning the game.
Right. Take one of them now. So the board is Court Hussar and Angel of Despair for Shato
There's
Yasuoka.
another Court
He
Hussar.
adds a second Court Hussar to his board.
You can see what
Pretty
we were
good as a
talking about
jump blocker.
earlier, where the Court Hussar might just be better than
That's Civic Wayfinder?
Civic
Absolutely.
Wayfinder. Which I think I keep calling Civic Guild Mage, making up some new...
Mirage card.
Was it?
Isn't it? I think so,
Well,
or
there's-
Invasion card. It's one of the
Yeah.
guild mages. It's a Civic Guild Mage. Willie Edel's side of the board is a Bird of Paradise wearing a Face Fetters, a Celestia Guild Mage wearing a Sunforger, and 5 lands.
It looks like...
Ooh, Tamahiro Kaji resolves Skeletal Vampire in his match against Zampier, trying to stabilize from those Kudzus.
Yasuoka has a nice little buffet of cards to choose from here.
An Angel of Face Fetters and a Remand.
What does he take? He's got to take the Face Fetters. He can't cast
I
any
would
of
take
them.
The Angel.
Yeah, takes the Angel.
I think you need another Angel.
This
Like-
time he has to go for the Sunforger because of Bathe
The
and
Chars.
Light. Because of free Bathe and Light.
I think there's only 2 Bathes. Did he add more in the
He has,
sideboard?
he has a Bathe in his side,
Oh, so he's probably
which
up
he may
to
have
3.
brought in. I don't know.
Well, he has 2 in the graveyard,
Yeah.
so he may or may not have a Bathe left in his deck. Edel activates Sunforger. Decides to get Lightning Helix for Court Hussar. Interesting. Figures he really wants to be able to attack with a Guild Mage that's wearing a Sunforger. Thinks that's the faster way to deal damage, faster than getting Chars.
He also just gained 3 life. He just changed the...
Yeah, I think I buy it. But there's the
but
overrule.
There's the overrule.
So Lightning Helix gets countered. Yasuoka
Like 18.
gains 2 more life up to 18. Really well played game by both sides.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Edel's play. It's you get a team event and it's easy to Apollo's this big pro. He's doing really well. These 2 guys with him, but he chose these 2 guys for a reason.
Yeah, no,
he,
I
he
really
chose
think
to come to the Pro Tour with him.
I really think it's the new PTQ prize structure. Like, who knows how many awesome Magic players there are? They live in Brazil or Australia or some place where they can't afford to go to the Pro Tour regularly, and all of a sudden these guys can't afford to go to the Pro Tour,
Right.
and they show up, and now they're through to the finals. Win this, it's $25,000 a piece. They can afford to go to all the Pro Tours you want.
Right.
I think the PTQ prize structure is the big story here.
I'm already looking forward to seeing these guys on the Latin American ballot next year for the
Sure.
Invitational.
Celestian Guildmage picks the Sunforger back up again and heads into battle. Court Hussar looks like a double block. That's why Willie Edel wanted to kill one of those Court Hussars, and
Because
that's
now
why
he has to
Yasuoka
use
was
his-
willing to defend it.
And now he has to use his
Suddenly,
mana.
exactly. Suddenly, Edel is forced to spend 4 mana to save a Guildmage.
While getting beat down for 5 in the air.
that
While on a
little
2-turn clock.
That little Lightning Helix overrule play, I'm not sure how many people would have seen to get the Lightning Helix to point at Court Hussar, and I'm not sure how many people would just be countering Sunforger spells the way Shuta Yasuoka has. I think both players playing really well. It's so easy to just see Court Hussar as a chump blocker followed by another chump blocker.
Right.
That's what I thought what the board was. But this double block, I mean, it obviously doesn't accomplish a whole lot.
And
but
it's also easy to look at it and say, well, even if I double block, he's just going to pump
and kill my guys.
and kill my guys.
Yeah, but you made him use up 4 mana. That's
Right,
so
you've,
much
you've
mana.
essentially time walked him.
And with Angel of Despair crunching over for 5 a turn, Time Walk is the best card Yasuoka can come up with.
There's another Helix.
Well, there's another Lightning Helix. This one goes to Dome Shot. Edel takes the opportunity while Yasuoka is tapped out to go ahead. He gains 3 life. That buys him a turn.
Doesn't
Should
even
get him
buy
up.
a turn.
What, wasn't he at 9?
I believed he was at 9, but now it's saying that he's gone from 7 to 10.
Oh, if he was at 7, then it's the next one that buys him a turn. Well, he paid 2 life for a land.
So bought
Angel
him
of
1
Despair
life.
crunches over.
Like 15 to
15 to 5.
Do you like that play as much if it just buys him? It doesn't actually buy him an extra turn.
I'm not sure. Is Yasuoka actually going to win a game here? I mean, he just wins next turn, right? Bird of Paradise can't block.
He's tapped
Does
out.
Sunforger get us? Is there a solution?
Can't do anything about the Angel of Despair.
And we know there's a second Angel of Despair coming down.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
there's the
talking
second
about.
one. What did
Saying he has no mana to prevent it from destroying something.
What did he even do about the first Angel of Despair in theory? I think Shuzo Yasuoka is actually going to win this game. He's going to outrace Sunforger with some really clever use of his permission spells. Nails a land.
That was very interesting.
Yasuoka can't figure out what the Sunforger's going to do either.
He nailed 2 lands. It was a Boros Garrison.
Right.
And at this point, Yasuoka can just chump with the Angel. He's got the win on the table.
Are there any ways to kill a 5/5 flyer in Willie Edel's deck?
Not a single card. Is obviously combinations
Fire.
of burn spells.
Demon Fire.
Demon Fire. Some combination of Chars and Helixes. Blocking and Bathing in
Probably
Light.
did not bring in the Savage Twisters for this matchup. I'm going to go out on a limb. Wow, a second Skeletal Vampire for Kaji. He's on offense now. Swinging with Sky Swallower and Vampire. Looks like Tomohiro Kaji is going to win the match that he needed to win.
I believed in the experience and the resourcefulness of Kajiharu 80. I said that at the beginning of the semifinals.
Oh, there's Demon Fire.
There is Demon Fire. So
now, why would he?
Plays a bird.
Oh, and a bird to
block.
chump with. Okay.
Does he attack with his?
Yeah, you send Guild Mage.
He has to, right?
So why not?
There's no point to
not
keeping it back.
All right, Willie Edel came up with a Demon Fire to kill one 5/5 flyer. He's got a Bird of Paradise back to block the other. If Yasuoka can clear Bird out of the way, he can attack for the game win right now and send this match to a game 3. Even if he can't, I don't think he got. I think he's got another turn. I think he can attack, force the Bird to chump, and then put Edel to the test to come up with a second answer to a 5/5 flyer.
How much pressure is he under?
Yasuoka, look at his eyes.
He's trying to figure out
Scanning
if
the
he
board.
attacks.
It's like looking, this, that, the other.
I mean, he doesn't have another play to leave back to defend against the Guild Mage.
Right.
Can he afford to attack here? Chumps with the Bird.
Guild Mage
He takes
up
at least
Sunforger.
6.
That's 6.
He takes at least 6.
Char makes it 10. So yeah, he's definitely worried that he's one burn spell in Edel's hand away from dying. What do you think of him deciding to destroy that land instead of the Guild Mage?
I would
with the
much
Sunforger?
rather deal with one of the threats on the table.
Oh.
I mean, I guess he was worried about Demon Fire you, or something like that. But I would much rather just... The Sunforger seems like a much more pressing threat. It puts his creatures way more into a more powerful position to kill like an Angel or to do something untoward. I think he should have taken out either the creature or the Sunforger. More likely the Sunforger, to my mind.
I think I agree with you. Meanwhile, on table A, Tomohiro Kaji has indeed taken his match.
Wow, that's only his 6th match win of the weekend.
It's a big one, though.
It's huge.
Tomohiro Kaji defeats Celso Zampier 2-0. The Flaxcaster Frogling beatdown plan did not get it done for Zampier, and Kajiharu 80 is now 1 match away from winning this Pro Tour.
That's
On
Saito
table
match.
C, Saito versus Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa. We're going to hold that game 3, make sure we get that on camera, show it to you. Edel and Yasuoka are in game 2 here.
Everyone's watching this match. You can see Kaji poking his head in there, offering some suggestions.
Yeah, there's Kaji looking over. Kaji's certainly happy to be done with his match.
Willie hasn't seemed like he needed much help. He's been playing very well. There's the towel, the Gerard towel.
I'm supposed to say something like Kaji can taste victory here. Kaji's staring intently. Big turn for Yasuoka. Do you attack with Angel of Despair or not? If he attacks, he clears a path to win next turn, but he opens up a window where he could die in the meantime.
I'm not sure he can afford it.
And there is Tomoharu Saito on Yasuoka's other shoulder. You got all three of them. Saito whispering into one ear, Kaji whispering into the other ear, Yasuoka piloting the deck. What do you think, guys? Judge says you got to make a play. You guys can't think forever. Yeah, I think he has to attack. If he hangs back, what is he going to do? He's just going to block with Guildmage? What is that? Which split card?
He's using Trial and Error to return. With damage on the stack, he's using Trial and Error to return Angel of Despair to his hand.
Target creature and the creature blocking with it, blocked by it, return to owner's hand. Return those creatures.
Return all creatures blocking or blocked by target creature to their owner's hands.
So he targets the bird with Trial Error, and it returned with damage on the stack. The bird dies, the angel returns to his hand, and then he has an angel. That's a great play.
Wow. The bird dies. All creatures blocking or blocked by, he targets the bird. It's not blocking or blocked by itself, so it dies. The angel comes back. Wow, great play.
That's a great play.
That's awesome. Yasuoka is able to pick up his angel, which destroys a Guildmage and gives him a blocker should something crazy happen to happen. Wow.
That was fantastic.
That was awesome.
We've talked a lot about the ability to return to bounce creatures with Trial and Error, but I don't think we've actually seen it happen before.
It's true. No, I'm not sure I've seen that half of that split card played. You know, I heard the Japanese were playing all 10 split cards this weekend. I'm not sure if this particular Japanese team has all 10 of them, but all 10 have been in action by a Japanese player at some point during this.
The one card I had not seen was Bound and Determined, and that was in this top 4.
Yep.
That was
all 10 of them getting played. And now, look at Willie Edel. All of a sudden, it's like, but I had Sunforger against the control deck. How am I losing? And to be fair, he's done everything right so far as I can tell.
God, that was such an exciting play.
It explains a little bit more why he angeled the land. I think he knew he had the ability to pick the angel back up again.
So then what was that? I wonder what he was thinking. It took so long for him to make that decision.
Yeah, that play seems good. I don't know. I can't imagine he had another play that was competitive with that.
I mean, he could have played Demir Signet. I mean, I think that's not the only other option he had in his hand.
Watch Wolf play Willie Edel. Now what? Equip. But he's facing a 5/5 flyer. What does he do about a 5/5 flyer?
He Lightning Helixes right now to
Lightning
gain 3
Helix
life
to gain
and buy
3
a
life.
turn.
Sure.
Não, tá com todas. Tirei da 4. Tá bom. Tava pensando nisso.
So this Lightning Helix will resolve. Edel goes up to 8. Yasuoka falls to 5. 10 to 8.
Yeah, I'm still not so
10.
sure he shouldn't have hit the Sunforger.
Yeah, good point. So now what happens? Next turn,
because he didn't even need the Watch Wolf. He could have put it on the bird.
Yeah, doesn't Edel win next turn? That Sunforger goes and gets a char or something, right? Even if Angel knocks Edel to 3, he's got enough life to get a char. Watchwolf wearing a Sunforger hits for 7. Well, Yasuoka has declined to Angel the Sunforger twice now. As this board looks lethal for Edel.
Yeah,
Yasuoka can't swing for 8.
He's had 2 opportunities to angel the Sunforger, and he's just chose not to do it. It's buying Edel turns right now.
Right. He had a 3rd opportunity earlier. He's resolved Angel 3 times.
Right.
The previous time he killed a Hierarch. Then he killed a land. And then this time he kills a Guildmage. He clearly seems to prefer to attack creatures. But especially with that Fetters bird sitting there, like, you can just equip that. I think he should have.
If he kills the Sunforger, he would win on this turn.
Right. Yeah, if he kills
I mean,
Sunforger,
provided that there's not another bird.
I think that's what he was debating with his teammates all that time. Like, pick up the Angel was obviously the right play. I'm sure they must have been
So
debating.
the debate was
what do you target?
I would love to know what their reasoning was.
How do you take the Guild Mage there?
I mean, it's not like you have incomplete information, too. You know how many Lightning Helixes he's running.
Yeah, they had picked up the Graveyard. Now they're counting. Well, is it a Lightning Helix again next turn? And next, how many Helixes are in the Graveyard? Is it 3 or 4?
He can shut off Char, right?
Oh.
No, he
can only drop him to 3.
He can only drop. Okay.
And another Lightning Helix buys him a turn. I don't know if there's 3 or 4 in the Graveyard.
Wow. What's going through shutting
3 Helixes in Edel's Graveyard. So he can get another Lightning Helix next turn and go up to 6, effectively 11, where 2 Angel swings isn't even lethal. The Sun Fortress seems like the problem here. The creatures are dorks without a Sun Fortress to pick up.
Right. And again, the 2 turns. We go from 5 to 8, which is a turn, and then we go from 8 to 11,
which is a
whole other turn. He has to attack.
Yeah. Angel attacks. That drops Edel to 3. Yasuoka ships the turn.
What does he have? He still has a card in his hand. 2 cards in his hand.
Pra matar. Mas deixa a ágil perto. Por quê? Porque ele não sabe se tem banho, sabe?
All right, we've got an equipped Watchwolf.
Punching over for 7.
Rumbling into the red zone.
That 3. You unequip and get Helix.
I feel like he has to unequip and get Char. Trial and Error will counter Helix.
Oh, interesting.
He has to get Char here.
There's Char. And there's the scoop. Wow. Willie Edel pulls it off. Willie Edel wins that game 2-0. That match is over. It's 1 match for Kachiharu 80 and Tomohiro Kaji. 1 match for Ralapumba and Willie Edel. It all comes down to Table C. Tomoharu Saito versus Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa. Wow. They are just about ready to start Game 3. We've been holding them. They were watching. They were cheering for their boys. Now there's the big stretch. Saito will slap himself in the face momentarily. Come on. All right. There it is. Now they're ready to play. Don't understand not killing that Sun Fortress.
I don't understand.
Definitely be curious to ask the Japanese their logic. I mean, I'm sure they had a decent reason. But it all comes down to this. 1 game for the Pro Tour Charleston title. And 1 game, by the way, for $75,000. Second place team gets $36,000.
It's a $40,000 ante-match.
$39,000 difference between winning this Pro Tour and coming in second.
So we lead off with a Plague Rusalka right into an Orzhov Signet. Pretty fast. Not really a fast start, fast development.
Saito.
Rise Fall.
And slaps himself in the face. Looks over. Yeah, it's Rise Fall.
Slaps himself in the face.
This is him to Torok, right?
Yep.
Discard 2 cards at random.
Paulo asks him to use a die to randomly determine.
No.
Dice, please.
They're looking for dice. Someone has to have dice. So, you guys have gotten so efficient at creating all the tokens
Nobody has
to
any
represent.
dice
Yeah,
anymore?
nobody has any dice anymore.
That's 2 ones. Oh, it's actually.
How do you flip a coin for 4 cards?
Random.
It's so funny how players aren't willing to let someone choose a card randomly. They want to make sure the randomness is actually random.
No.
No, it's a random discard.
Oh, okay. Roll the dice. 4 card, please.
Not sure what he means.
Dice.
So random discard. Shuffle. There you go.
Okay.
Shuffle the cards around. Pick one.
This,
Slap. Is that
hit 2 spells, it looks like.
Mortify and Condemn? Here comes Plague Rusalka.
18 turns to go.
Paulo Vitor adds
Tesa.
Tesa to his board. Saito untaps in a hurry. I love how he slow rolls the draw. He's so hyper and so frenetic, but that last second he's got to tease himself. Lightning Helix on Tesa.
Tesa only
Saito-
triggers on other creatures, so you don't get a
Right?
token. For
That
it.
seemed important. Is Saito the control deck in this matchup? Is that how this plays out?
I think it does. Well, I think.
I mean, I don't think
that-
Saito can win with aggro. Paulo Vitor Damarosa is so effective against
He's been
stopping
and so
an aggro deck.
effectively, and he's really been so effective at it that he's almost been the beatdown deck himself.
We saw him come out blisteringly fast in the first game. Saito was able to even it in game 2. I mean, Saito is up cards from the Hymn to Torok effect. He's killed the best creature that Damarosa has played.
Oh.
Wow, now here's Char to the head.
Okay.
Untap draw.
Score 15-16.
15 to 16.
Go.
Signet for Tomoharu Saito. Saito's trying to press the pace of this game. You think he's trying to throw his opponent off? Trying to be the hyperkinetic, I can play better fast than you can. Doesn't want to give his opponent time to think about it. His opponent is, I think, a great player, though. 5 for 5 making money on the Pro Tour.
Yeah, you
Saito can't even claim
You
that.
can't see it from the camera angle. Paulo looks unflapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks pretty
Paulo's
unflappable. He looks pretty calm.
Totally calm.
He's calmly making
totally
notes, putting his
comfortable.
pad back on his lap, taking it back up.
17.
Yeah, Saito's doing his best to rattle him, and it is just not working at all.
On the other camera, Kaji looks like he's vomiting into his towel. He looks so.
Third pass.
Behind Saito. There's Solifuge.
Like 17.
That's a big
Hey, this
hit.
is-
DeRosa's down to 9. He serves with Plague Rusaka there, with Solifuge hanging out.
He might have Pontiff here.
It's about the only thing that makes sense. Yeah, there's the Pontiff.
9.
Down goes Solifuge. You're at 9. Damarosa's at 9. Saito
Against a
trying to
deck with
basically burn him out.
Demon Fires and another 6 burn spells too on top of that.
Yeah, Damarosa doesn't have a great answer for burn coming over the top. That's perhaps why he's been so aggressive at attacking. He knows he has to deal 20 in a hurry.
Cut. Focus.
Dark Blast and Mortify and a Condemn hanging out in Damarosa's
He
hand.
might have to condemn his own guy.
Huh.
The old Swords My Own Guy trick from way back in the early days of the Pro Tour.
There's Solifuge.
Vou matar.
Comes into play, tapped and attacking in the red zone. That's what that guy should say.
Do alvo aqui, manteigo aqui, damos mais um.
Pontiff is an option.
Counting that.
So what he's doing is he's sacrificing the Pontiff to target itself.
Using this to target this?
No, it's targeting itself.
Targeting self?
Yes. And
Okay.
I'm counting that.
Yep. Okay, so you sack this,
Yes.
okay, targeting this.
Then
That
counting.
haunts itself, right, then that dies, right, and then
Sets
falls
off a hauntability
and then this.
on the Pontiff.
Yeah, this
Why is that
dead.
better than blocking with Pontiff?
-1,
You don't
-1.
take trample.
Oh, nice play.
Like,
Awesome play from Paulo Vitor Damarosa. By sacrificing the Pontiff to the Plague Rusaka, he does lose both cards, but he takes no trample damage. And the thing he cares about right now, much more than having a 1/1 attacker, is having 9 points of life to play with. Preserves 3 points of life with a nice little tricky stack interaction.
There's
Seal of Fire.
7
Damarosa is
life.
effectively at 7. Lisolda,
He's essentially
effectively
at
at 5, and he's got to deal with a 3/1 attacker. Dark
we have
Blast.
Dark Blast.
Sure. So 2 to the face, and Saito will get to draw a card as well. 16 to 7, which is really 5 with the seal. Down comes
Faith's Fetters.
Faith's Fetters. There's some life gaining. Gigantic.
11.
Faith's Fetters on a land. Does he
It's
have
on a
Ghost
Signet.
Councils?
No, he does not have. Oh yes, he does.
Damarosa does have
He has
Ghost
4
Councils.
Ghost Councils.
That's the other potential life gaining in his deck.
Yeah, Ghost Council and a Skeletal Vampire would turn this game around
Cut.
pretty quickly.
4. 3. 2.
We can see Damarosa's hand though, and they're not there right now.
Well, I said they would. It's a meme.
That 4 life seems gigantic, though. Big difference between
Well, it's an entire
effectively
spell.
5 and effectively 9. It's a good spell.
Yeah. Yeah. It's his best spell, right? It's Char. Well, I guess Demon Fire is his
Demon
best
Fire.
spell.
Kaji and Yasuoka arrayed behind Tomohiro Saito.
Paulo needs to find a
Looking
threat,
on.
though, because as Saito just plays more and more lands, the Demon Fire is just...
That's true.
It's just a game-ending card as soon as it comes to the top of his deck.
Just a land from Paulo Vitor.
Next to you.
There's Lightning Helix.
19, you 8.
Dropping Paulo to 8, which is really 6.
And
Child,
Sharyu dropping him
17.
to 4, which is really 2. Does Tomohiro Saito have another burn spell? Yes, he does! He said Saito! Wow! Fries Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa, fries the hopes of Ralafumba. Congratulations, Kaji Haru, 80. They win Pro Tour Charleston, $25,000 each, 75 grand. Headed to Japan with these guys, a whole host of pro points, and Tomohiro Kaji got that Pro Tour win he wanted. The whole team played awesome all weekend. They played great Magic. They had great decks. Wow.
on Thursday, Kenji Samura pointed to Shadow Yusoka and said, Player of the Year. He, I believe, is currently leading the Player of the Year race as of
With this win?
With this win.
Wow.
Just 38 points.
38's a lot.
He had a high finish in Prague, and he also has top 8 in every GP he's played in this season.
Whew.
Wow, that was great.
Hello again. Brian David Marshall, I'm Randy Bueller. Do a little post-game wrap-up for you. We will then set up for an award ceremony, and it's been a fun Pro Tour.
Wow. We saw some really compelling Magic there. The most interesting thing to me there was that whole sequence of play with Angel of Despair coming down 3 times.
For Yasuoka?
For yes.
Didn't matter. They lost that match, but they got the other 2.
And he didn't, yeah.
What was that word? What was the word?
Kiseki.
Kiseki. The Japanese said they needed a miracle.
That was their strategy.
Well,
Miracle.
They felt like Kaji had a decent shot. They felt like Yasuoka had no chance, so they needed Saito to come up with a way to beat the anti-aggro Orzhov build that Damo de Rosa brought to play. Damo de Rosa got the deck to come out blisteringly fast in the first game, but I really think Saito, he abandoned the idea of attacking with creatures. Like, he's playing Rakdos Boros, 2 guilds that just love to get into the red zone and turn their guild mages sideways and turn the Sky Knight Legionnaire sideways. It's like, no, just give me more burn.
John had said something about who's the beatdown, like the classic control, but it was actually more like Philosophy of Fire. It was, I'm just going to throw burn spells at you every turn. I'm just going to use my mana every turn to burn you.
That's exactly what happened. And Tomohiro Saito
So I've done 20.
Pulled off the match. Wow. That was good Magic.
And this is Tomohiro Kaji and Tomohiro Saito. They were done before the lunch break last year in Atlanta, playing as one spin with Player of the Year Kenji Samura. This year with Shota Yasuoka, up-and-coming player from Japan, they get through to the finals and they hoist the trophy. Up and came.
Apparently, if you got the math right, he is now leading the Player of the Year race. I could easily see any one of these 3 guys being Player of the Year, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. And Paulo Vitor, he can continue to. I mean, he's right in the Player of the Year race with continued strong finishes. I think we're seeing a new wave of players who are going to, we're going to see fighting it out for the rest of the year alongside Kenji and Ollie and Antoine and all the old stalwarts.
You see a little bit of that in D25 as well from the other Japanese team in this top 8. Also up-and-comers, sort of been, meeting each other at the PTQs and maybe running into a little bit of a glass ceiling. And in their case, it wasn't a plane ticket so much as just having a group to get together and build decks. But both D25 and Ralapumba really sort of a, PTQ-fueled next generation coming up to challenge the old guard that's been ruling the Pro Tour for the last couple of years. But you know what? This old guard's not ready to go anywhere.
No,
the Japanese players that have been winning everything for the last couple of years, they've won this one again. Congratulations to them.
Kaji's hard. It's funny to call him old guard, but yeah.
No, but I mean the last couple of years. I mean, it was really a transition about 2 years ago where the Japanese
Saito's been around forever.
He has, but it's only in the last 2 years that he's had that much success, right?
Yes.
So The Japanese have been winning seemingly everything for the last 2 years. Chalk up another one. They are the Pro Tour Charleston champions, and we're now ready for an award ceremony to hand out the big checks and the trophies. So for Brian David Marshall, I'm Randy Buehler. We've enjoyed bringing you this one. We will see you guys live from Kobe, where we'll be doing Time Spiral Booster Draft in October. See you then.
Welcome to the 2006 Pro Tour Charleston Awards Ceremony. Assisting me today will be head judge Sheldon Menery. First, the finalists. From Brazil, Kala Pumba, Celso Sampara, Willie Adel, and Paulo Vitor Damo da Rosa. Once again, the finalists of 2006 Pro Tour Charleston, Team Kala Pumba. And now the 2006 Pro Tour Charleston champions, Kajiharu 80, Tomohiro Kaji, Shota Yasuoka, and Tomoharu Saito. Once again, the 2006 Pro Tour Charleston champions, Kajiharu 80. This weekend they've won $75,000. I'd like to thank all the players, judges, and staff who have made Pro Tour Charleston such a great success. We'll see you October 20th through 22nd in Kobe, Japan. Thank you, and good night.